They buried her in the village square, under the old bamboo tree. The people whispered that it was a curse that took her, but I knew the truth. I saw it all. I still hear her voice, sometimes soft as the Amatan wind, asking the prince for a promise he could not keep. It all began in Mwikwe, our small village in southeastern Nigeria. Prince Emeka, the king's only son, was a good prince. Emeka spent his day in the field with us, learning how to till the soil and helping widows rebuild their thatched homes after the storm. We loved him for that. In fact, he was one of us. But his goodness as a prince had a price. The king grew old, and his council demanded that Emeka proved himself worthy of the throne. The elders agreed that he must marry Princess Obianiju of the neighboring kingdom, a union that is meant to strengthen the alliance. The people celebrated, but Emeka's face was like that of a man told to walk into fire. Emeka loved someone else. Her name was Ifunanya, and she was no princess. She was the daughter of the village healer. Some people call her different names because her mother knew the secrets of fruits and herbs. But to us, she was just Ifunanya, a bright-eyed, kind and fearless young woman. I often saw her with Prince Emeka by the riverbank side, where she gathered her herbs. They both laughed together like the world outside does not exist. One evening, I saw them there, under the moonlight. Ifunanya held his hands and said, "You will leave me." "Never," Emeka replied, with his voice firm. "I will never defy. I will never leave you for anyone." But the defiance was easier said than done. The day the council announced the wedding, the air grew heavy with the kind of silence that only precedes a storm. Emeka looked up at the elders and said, "I will not marry Obianiju." The council erupted in anger. Even the king's voice shook as he warned, "You will bring ruin upon this land, my son." That night, the village square was alive with torches and whispers. People gathered under the bamboo tree, watching as Ifunanya knelt before the elders. They accused her of using something else like a spell upon the prince to make him turn against his duty. I wanted to speak up, but fear froze my tongue. "Leave her alone," Emeka's voice rang out as he strode into the square. "This is not her doing. I choose her." The elders declared that the gods would decide. They gave Ifunanya a test. She had to walk barefoot across burning embers of fire to prove her innocence. If she survived unscarred, it meant she spoke the truth. If not, the gods had judged her guilty. The crowd fell silent as the flames roared. I remember the way Ifunanya held her head high, stepping into the glowing coals. She made it halfway before she stumbled. Emeka rushed to her, lifting her into his arms, and the elders declared her guilty. "She used a spell on you," they cried. "The gods have spoken." But I saw it. The embers didn't burn her. Her feet were unmarked. The elders had made up their minds long before the test began. Emeka carried Ifunanya to her mother's haunt, where she stayed for days, growing weaker. She whispered something to Emeka that night, and by morning, she was gone. The wedding to Princess Obianuju never happened. Emeka left the palace, renouncing his claim to the throne. He became a wanderer healer this time around, using his knowledge, the knowledge Ifunanya had taught him. People said he brought peace wherever he went, but his eyes always carried a sadness. Sometimes under the bamboo tree, I could still imagine hearing her voice like I used to before, and I wondered if Emeka could hear it. This is the story of how a prince chooses love over power, and how love, in the end, chooses silence.